Hi everybody! Today we'll be doing a video on how to do the company makeup for the 2017 competition season. We'll be using the e.l.f. palette that Amy has given you. There are 4 brown colors in it and I will explain those as we go. This is a tutorial for both the adults and the children who are interested in learning how to do their own makeup, and I would highly encourage those who are feeling willing to learn how to do it because it makes everybody's lives a whole lot easier. Okay, here we go. First, we want to start with eye primer on the eyes. I have chosen NYX, Proof It. This helps the eyeshadow stay on the skin and not sweat off quite as easily. What you do is you just put it on the eyes. Just kind of blop it on there. And then what I like to do is just rub it in with my finger. You just want to spread it on the whole base of the eye. So all the way up to the eyebrow and down to the lashes. Okay. After that, we'll start with the base color, which is the lightest color, and on your palette it'll say base. We're using a brush that's a little bit fluffy but kind of flat. It'll just help set all the makeup in its place. Okay, so once you get your product on there, you just want to tap it onto the lid of the eye. So from the eyelashes basically to the bottom of the brow bone, all the way over on each side. Cover that whole base, get as close to the lashes as you can. And I like to tap it because it puts more color, more concentrated color on the lid, and it helps you see the color more. It's important to have pretty noticeable colors. You want to go a little heavy on the eyeshadow because on stage it'll help bring out the eyes of your dancer. And it'll also help when you look at videos and pictures, make them look not like ghosts. It'll add some definition to their face. So this is more like stage makeup than anything. But we're not going to go crazy either because we realize these are just kids and we don't want them to look foolish either. Okay, so once you have, as you can see, it's just from the crease of the eye all the way down to the bottom, all the way across. Sit back. Next we want to do what we call the crease. So for this, I like to use a puffier brush. It's a little looser, the bristles are a little fluffier. And then what you actually want to do, you're going to use the color that says lid instead of crease. I know this gets a little bit confusing, but you want to use the lid color because it's the second to lightest color, and what we like to call that in the makeup world is the blending color or the transition color. You want to tap off the extra every time that you put eyeshadow on the eye, just because you want to start with less and then add more as you go. So you're going to go from this outer corner about 3/4 of the way in. So you'll stop about here, look forward a little bit, 3/4 of the way in to the end. Okay. And you just want to go in a sweeping motion right in the crease, so right where your eyelid would bend in or fold in to the rest of your eye. Contouring has become a big fad, close your eyes, in makeup world these days, and it's to bring out certain features of your face and thin out other features. So when we put it on our eyes, in the crease what we're doing is thinning out that crease or creating a shadow in the crease of your eye so that it makes your eyes surprisingly, weirdly look more open. So that's why this second to lightest color is going to go right in the crease. And like I said, just sweep it back and forth, just like a windshield wiper. So next, when we add the darker color, I like to use a brush that's a little more stiff and more pointed if you can. It doesn't necessarily need to be pointed, but I think it helps with the shape. So what you want to do is in your palette where it says crease, we're going to use that color. So this is the third to darkest color. Tap off that excess powder. Turn your head a little. We're going to create a V right in the outer edge of the eye. So that's why I like to use a little bit more pointed of a brush. So you're going to go from about 1/4 of the way out from the end to the end, and then sweep it back in on the bottom of the eye. So you're going to fill in that last quarter of the eye. And you want to bring this up to the brow bone. So right now, it's touching her brow bone, about right here. And so we want to make sure we get all the way up there because this is what's going to help create that more open looking eye. Turn your head the other way. Make that V shape. And you can go any direction on these sweeps too because we're just filling in and creating that blended look. Okay, and when you do this, you will get some fallout. And what I mean by that is the powder will probably fall here on the outsides of the eye onto the cheekbone. When we're done doing the eyes, we'll just wipe that off with a cotton ball or with a makeup removing wipe. Okay, so if you come closer, you can see how this shadowy look is starting to form on the outside of Becca's eye. Go back. And then to add just a little bit more color, I like to use a little bit puffier of a brush, but you could also use the same brush you were just using and use the darkest color. So in the palette, it'll say line. Definitely start with less product on this and then build if you feel like you need to. As you can see, I didn't put a whole lot on there. Look at me. And I like to do just little circles in the eye and brush it towards the middle a little bit. And this will stay slightly under the brow bone and go in just about the same amount, if not a little bit less, from the end of the eye to almost a quarter of the way in. And to give it a little bit of shape, you can sweep outwards and upwards, but we will clean that up, like I said, at the end with a cotton ball or Q-tip or a makeup removing away. So little circles right here on the end. Sweep it in a little. Sweep it up and out. You want it to look smooth and blended, so if you have to go over it with a puffier brush, that's okay. Puffier brushes do help with blending. Smaller brushes that are stiff help with defining. Sorry. And the rule of thumb is that you always want it to be darkest on the outside and lightest on the inside. That helps making your eyes look more open. So last, what I like to do, go ahead and look straight, with the littlest brush, and it doesn't matter if it's fluffy or if it's stiff. Add that same color that you started with, the base color, and put it right under the eyebrows, right over the darkest color, and come in just about the whole way across the eye. When you come in towards the middle, you're going to want to bring it down rather than over to the nose. And again, the lightest color on the inside is what helps with making it look more open. Okay, and just to kind of highlight the colors a little bit and clean it up actually, what we want to do is pat just a little bit more of the lightest color right there in the inner sides of the eye. Here, close your eyes. You can see how the insides are a lot lighter, the outsides are a lot darker, but it blends smoothly from the inside to the outside using all four colors. Okay. Next, what we're going to do is add the eyeshadow, or I'm sorry, the eyeliner. That's my fault. I got Becca the super skinny eye marker from NYX. NYX is spelled N-Y-X, and that is my favorite makeup brand. It's very affordable, and you can buy it anywhere from Ulta to Target and some other drugstores. I think it's very reliable. It's also, okay, so when we do the eyeliner, I like to start in the middle of the eye and draw in small strokes. So if you can see on Becca here, we have a very small streak right in the middle. And I like to work my way outwards, again in small strokes, to the very end of the eye. An eyeliner rule of thumb is that, again, it's thicker on the outside than it is on the inside, because if it's thick on the inside, it'll make your eye look more closed. We want to open and brighten the inside of the eye, so we can make it just a little bit thicker on the outside. When you work in small strokes, that's what makes the line more controllable. And you want to get as close to the lashes as possible. I also like to do my strokes from the inside to the outside instead of drawing from the outside to the inside, because if you go out in, then you create wrinkles on your eyes and the liner doesn't go on quite as smooth. Okay. No, and close. I don't recommend really stretching your eye too much, because in the long run, when you're a lot older, it will create wrinkles on your eyes, thus making your makeup harder to do, and also nobody wants wrinkles. I also, for myself and for children, especially those that are Becca's age, around the age of 12, I like to use a felt tip pen, because I feel like those are the most easily controlled. It's just like drawing with a marker. Go ahead and look. And they're easy to teach younger students how to do their eyeliner. Felt tip marker. I'll actually show you what that looks like. So it's just a little felt tip marker. It also goes on pretty bold, so with a crayon or a pencil you don't see the color quite as much, but with a felt tip marker it looks like liquid, but goes on a lot smoother and a lot easier than that. So for mascara, I use the classic Great Lash Mascara by Maybelline. I think it's great for starters. Classic, reliable product. So as usual, we just swipe the eyelashes. Look up for me. We want to get as close to the eyelid as possible. It's a little tough sometimes, so I like to encourage the students to do it themselves. Another way you can do it is just hold the brush still and have them blink. Go ahead and blink. And that'll very lightly coat the eyelashes with the mascara. As you know, the students will be wearing lashes, so you do want to apply the eyeliner and mascara before you put the eyelashes on, but you're going to want to do it again afterwards, because it'll help blend the eyelashes together. And the glue may mess up the eyeliner, so that's just going to be an extra step to make everything look clean swept. So that is the complete eye tutorial, and like I said, there will be eyelashes added later, but for now, for the sake of learning how to do the makeup, that's it. Thanks, guys.